The power utility is seeking approval for a 17% tariff increase, and according to the application submitted to NERSA, Eskom has applied for the increase to recoup 22.8 billion rand. If Eskom's application is successful, the tariff increase will take effect from the 1st of April. Well, for more now, we join our reporter Iviwe Poti. She's in Port Elizabeth for an update on those hearings. Iviwe, good afternoon to you. So it's fair to say there's been widespread opposition to these applications from Eskom, and NERSA is still pushing for answers. Who's being heard today, and what are the stakeholders putting forward?
Good day, Natasha, and welcome to the Nelson Mandela Bay Metro. Some of the things that have been highlighted, through this session from the consumers, specifically your business owners, they're worried about those that are already poor who cannot afford electricity. They are worried about, the load shedding stream that we've come out of, as well as illegal connections where the pinch is normally felt by those who are already paying for electricity and your taxpayers. And they are also worried about the impact that it will have on businesses, as 17% is quite a huge hike, and businesses are already feeling the pinch as is. But right now I have with me Mr. Poti from the Nelson Mandela Business Chamber, who's going to speak to us a bit more in terms of the businesses that they represent and some of the main issues that have been highlighted by your business owners and the concerns that they are feeling at this time. Mr. Poti, tell us a bit about the businesses in the Nelson Mandela Bay Metro and how you guys feel about the 17% hike.
The hike, in fact, is more than that. It's on the year-on-year hike is 24% relative to the year in respect of which the RCA application is made. And the Chamber, of course, believes that this is unsustainable. It impacts on business, which in turn impacts on employment, and that in turn has an effect on the poor. So contrary to what NERSA or Eskom, I beg your pardon, is contending, that they are trying to make this hike pro-poor, they're actually creating the poor.
Throughout your presentation as the Nelson Mandela Business Chamber, you guys have also highlighted some irregularities. I believe, Mr. Merchants, you can tell us, maybe the main two irregularities that have come out throughout the presentation that you guys at Eskom has given over.
Firstly, there's a huge issue with efficiency at Eskom, which they're trying to reclaim from the users. So basically Eskom has increased its costs by basically a factor 4 over the last 5 years on the main cost lines, and that is unexplained. And obviously that causes really a lot of the problems we're seeing now, and the request for all this money being requested from the electricity consumer. So apart from the inefficiencies, obviously Eskom is also asking us to actually pay monies because they have not sold enough electricity during the period, and that is actually quite irrational, because in essence Eskom has asked us to use less electricity, and they have actively encouraged the consumers to reduce their consumption. On top of that, we also believe there's irregularities with the application from Eskom side. They haven't followed the correct procedures, and from that perspective, we believe the application from Eskom is actually unlawful and should be thrown out completely.
Thank you so much. Well, Natasha, that is the Nelson Mandela Business Chamber that we've spoken to. We've also spoken to NERSA, who gave us a comment a bit earlier, highlighting that the main issues that they walk away from with today's session, specifically, the irregularities that the Nelson Mandela Business Chamber have picked up on, as well as the poor. How will they then afford, to alleviate poverty in a situation where they are found not to be able to afford electricity, as they're already feeling the pinch? NERSA has said in the last few weeks of February, we should have, a concrete answer in terms of which way they're going, what's the way forward. Will there be a hike or won't there be a hike?
All right, Iviwe, thank you very much for that update. That's Iviwe Poti live from Port Elizabeth at NERSA's public hearings into Eskom's proposed tariff hikes.